What's going on, everyone? I'm Jaren, and today we are talking about Mickey 17. The story follows 17 Mickeys and counting, also known as Mickey Barnes, also known as an expendable, who goes on a dangerous mission in order to colonize an ice planet. Academy Award winner writer/director Bong Joon-ho returns to the silver screen to deliver his latest satirical romp of a masterpiece. This is also an adaptation to Edward Ashton's science fiction novel Mickey 7, and that one hit bookshelves back in 2022. The drastic reason for its change in the number of the title is that Bong Joon-ho wanted to kill Mickey 10 more times in this story. I remember when the first teaser trailer coming out to the theatrical trailer that everyone's expectations about this movie was being thrown for a loop. People thought that it was going to be a serious science fiction epic, something in the same vein of Interstellar, and then they saw the theatrical trailer thinking that, wow, this was a comedy. Did not expect that. It seems a little bit awkward. Now, was this going to be a movie that everyone was going to take a step back because it was going to be a good-looking, budgetized movie that was going to be a dud? Or was it going to be an awkward-looking movie that was going to exceed expectations? Bong Joon-ho manages to challenge himself and the audience as well by engaging in thought-provoking topics that hide beneath the surface of the actual story, where the parallels become relevant to our modern tomorrow. And like many of his films that he has presented before us, he has a way in just presenting these topics by sampling multiple genres in one swoop, such as action and adventure, dark humor, political drama, romance, the list goes on. Science fiction, horror, suspense, and somehow he manages to nail it all. I mean, I found myself intrigued and fascinated in one section, sorrowful in the next, at the edge of my seat at one point, and laughing my ass off throughout. And by the end of the movie, I was just so baffled and just scrambled with my thoughts that I didn't know how to put this all into text, but what I did know is that I gleefully enjoyed every single moment of it. We are introduced to somewhat of a dystopian future where mankind has gone back and forth in tolerating and advancing human cloning. They've also decided to take the next leap forward and really classify space and otherworldly planets before them to become the next frontier. While the Select Manifest has taken the opportunity to make the intergalactic trip, our protagonist, Mickey Barnes, played by Robert Pattinson, has applied for the position of an expendable. And nope, I don't mean that he's joining up with Sylvester Stallone and the gang anytime soon, but he is tasked with the most dangerous for the most extreme missions in sake of the expedition, somewhat of a guinea pig, if you will, each step of the way. With a fantastic cast ensemble, everyone delivered knockout performances that sizzled and dazzled, starting off with Mark Ruffalo as Kenneth Marshall, a former senator who has decided to lead this voyage for home beyond the stars. Now, although Ruffalo is very well known for his heartthrob roles in the early 2000s, as well as his run as Bruce Banner in the MCU, aka the Hulk, he really knows how to tackle scummy characters. And if you think that his character in Poor Things was an insufferable oaf, he really just cranks it up to an 11 here. I mean, they were just not subtle at who they decided to poke fun at through Ruffalo's performance. Toni Collette is also in this movie, and she plays Ilfa? Yilfa? Anyways, she has a thing about exotic sauces, and I totally admire Colette's ability to play two completely spectral and particular personalities here, which is one being the emotionally empathetic one, or the far-fetched and manic one. And you know which one she decided to play in this one. Naomi Aki, she plays Nasha, and she is a complete 180 turn from what I get introduced to her in Blink Twice. And she plays Robert Pattinson's love interest, and she got a feistiness to her, which doesn't just make her charismatic, but a very impulsive badass. Steven Yeun plays Timo, and he's just the guy you'd love to hate. Timo used to be Mickey's business partner turned frenemy because he's always trying to pull a fast one on Mickey. And it's not that Timo personally just despises him or anything, it's just that Timo will just do anything by any means necessary to get some kind of instant gratification, even if that means taking advantage of Mickey himself. And I don't know. I just think that they could have just downsized and got a lesser known actor to play this character because we didn't need him spread across this entire movie to just make appearances and just show up just to put a halt at the pacing. But Yun becoming this character, becoming Timo, I mean, he makes a despicable character fun to watch. Last but not least, Robert Pattinson as our titular character, Mickey Barnes. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I was very much on the fence when I first heard of the voice that he decided to attach himself to with this character, but within the first 10 minutes, it really grew on me. Mickey's a protagonist that is always running his luck through his lives, and once he comes face to face with his multiple, aka Mickey 18, Pattinson becomes screen gold. The dual performances between both characters were just so engaging and bonkers and hysterical that I could not get enough of it. And the way that these characters are just clashing, the way that these characters are just at odds and polar opposites of each other, just made me forget that this character, or these two characters, were just done by the same actor. Throughout the film, while Pattinson is just narrating to the audience or basically exchanging dialogue to himself, there is a bleak theme that really lingers in the humor of dying and getting reprinted, aka resurrected. I admire the emotional toll that it took on Mickey and the way that it not only just physically hurts to be an expendable, but also just perceiving the value of his purpose or his life. He's always having to transfer or update his memories to his new vessel every time he dies. And just the way that he's just wondering to himself whether, the last Mickey was going to be an improvement, whether that would be his personality or his libido, just wondering if he's going to stay the same or become someone else. And, you can really just see the hurt that lingers behind his eyes every single time somebody tries to ask him, how does it feel like to die? Getting to my mixed negatives would have to go back to what I said about admiring Bong Joon-ho and how he manages to tackle all these themes, topics, and multiple genres in one swoop, and also that making the movie feel like a list of half-baked events and scenarios with Mickey instead of following a concrete story. One example being is also one section of the film that talked about the creatures, the endangered species of this native planet, and whether they were going to be dangerous or not. I would love to know more about them. I mean, they look like big, giant roly-polies. And then there's this potential threesome, love quad, between Nasha, the two Mickeys, and a character named Kai Katz. I was very interested to see where that kind of romance would have gone, but it really just takes it nowhere. And I was really interested in the character of Kai Katz because the way that she's presented, they really just flesh out a lot of her character in just a couple scenes, more than how they just montage of what Nasha meant to Mickey. And I would have just kind of loved to see where that would have gone because that romance was just getting a little bit spicy. Also, I like that little backstory we talked about when it came to the political and religious views between human cloning, especially with the history where there was that one serial killer who just went around killing homeless people. I thought that was very interesting. After watching it the second time around for a 2+ hour epic, it was just kind of all over the place. And I think that with all those really grand ideas, it would have made a really great miniseries. But I don't know, just the way that they just kind of threw everything all together, it just really made the transition from Act 2 to Act 3 felt very slow, very dragged out. Overall, I do have to say that I genuinely enjoyed this wacky, wild, and visually stunning sci-fi outing with Bong Joon-ho and its colorful ensemble. And Robert Pattinson, this is one for the books as some of my favorite performances of his career. Now, if I'm going to be completely honest, I do think that this is a step back from its Academy Award darling for Bong Joon-ho's Parasite. I just love that movie so much more. And you know what? If the future does proceed, that we could possibly have more Mickey Barnes for more screen appearances and adventures, I am all for it. Well, alright guys, that's all I got to share about that movie. Go ahead and check it out on the big screen if you want to. I'm Jaren Banawag. I want to thank you guys again for taking some time out of your day to hear me talk some movies. Look forward to more reviews, and I'll see you guys at the theater. In the meantime, take care.